So let us start now with Apple Pay. As you know, there is an important part of all e-commerce system which client always requested, which is Apple Pay. So today I will talk about Apple Pay. What is Apple Pay? How Apple Pay works and how we can configure it on our devices. Overview on the Apple Pay integration, how we can implement Apple Pay on the demandware and how we can customize it. Apple Pay is a secure, easy way to make payments for physical goods and services, as well as donation and subscriptions in iOS apps, in Watch OS apps, and on the websites. People can authorize payments and provide shipping and contact information using credentials that are securely stored on their device under Wallet and Apple Pay on the settings that I will cover it shortly. Offering Apple Pay as payment option on all devices that support it. If the device doesn't support Apple Pay, we don't present Apple Pay as payment option. So on all devices that support Apple Pay, then the Apple Pay button will be shown. I would like here to highlight the devices that support Apple Pay on iPad or MacBook Pro with Touch ID. On other Macs, the purchase is confirmed with the user nearby iPhone or Apple Watch that has Apple Pay enabled. Now, let me show you how we can configure Apple Pay on our devices. Let me open a screenshot. So, to configure Apple Pay on your device, to make sure you can make a payment or you can proceed with your purchase, simply you can go to the wallet and Apple Pay on the settings. Actually, this feature is allowed on specific country listed by Apple, as you can see on the following link. Here you can see the countries and region that support Apple Pay. Here is the list of countries in Asia Pacific, countries in Europe, Brazil in Latin America, Saudi Arabia and UAE on Middle East, Canada and US on North America. So if you didn't see the wallet and Apple Pay on your device, then this feature is not allowed with your specific country. After that, you can click on Wallet and Apple Pay on the settings and you will see this configuration tab. On this configuration, you can fill required information such as card, contact addresses, shipping, and so on. This information will be saved securely on your wallet and Apple Pay for future users. Now, after filling this information, you can use this awesome feature. Let me show you how we can use this feature. We can use this feature of the Apple Pay by clicking on the Apple Pay button that appears on the website. If you are using it on the web, as you can see here, and if you click on this button, Apple Pay pop-up will be shown. This pop-up will be shown with saved payment information, and you can change or add your information as you want. Here is the information. Inside this tab, you will see the billing information and so on, and you can change or add a new billing or card and so on. And by default, the saved information will be shown on the pop-up. And here you can see the shipping information. You can change or add new shipping information. You can choose the shipping method. You can add or edit your contact information such as email or phone. And here is the total details. Then simply, you can use your Touch ID to proceed with your payment. And you will see the processing tab here appear. On the processing, as you know, Apple Pay is just using your saved secure information, such as card, billing, shipping, and so on. And if it is, and I would like here the Apple Pay is not a payment gateway. It is just used to use your saved information for future purpose, for future use, such as here you can check out or connect with different gateway. So on the processing, Apple Pay communicate with configured gateway, such as CyberSource, such as Adian. So on the processing, the Apple Pay will communicate to authorize your payment, to communicate with the gateway to authorize your payment or capturing it and saving the transaction within your order. And if everything is good, you will see the done step and you will reach the order confirmation. Now let me show you how we can configure Apple Pay on our sandboxes. To configure Apple Pay on our sandbox, simply we can go to Merchant Tools, and under Site Preferences we will go to Apple Pay. We will navigate to Apple Pay page that should configure Apple Pay there. The first option is Apple Pay enabled. To identify if Apple Pay is enabled or not within our storefront. On onboarding, you will see Apple Merchant ID, Apple Merchant Name, country code. These three fields will be filled from your Apple account where you are configure your merchant or where you are creating your merchant from Apple account. Then the merchant capabilities, the payment capabilities supported by the merchant. So if we are going to developer documentation of the Apple Pay, you will see how we can configure this option. And this option will be, and I would like to highlight here, these details are sent with the request to open the Apple Pay pop-up. So the merchant capabilities required some values such as 3DS. This should be required. Credit, debit, EMV is an optional. And I would like to highlight here, if we are choose or support China Union Pay transaction on the supported networks, we should choose the EMV on the merchant capabilities. And on the supported networks, you can choose Amex, China Union Pay, Discover, MasterCard, Visa, private label, and so on. Next one is required shipping address field. On required shipping address field, we can choose email, name, phone, postal address. Required billing address field, such as name, postal address, and these fields and these two parameters are sent to on the request to how we can show the pop-up. So if we can choose, let me show you. Okay, so if we can choose required shipping address fields, then the shipping tab will be shown. If we choose billing address field, then the card tab will be shown with the contact information. So these details are sent on the request based on your customized, based on your requirement. Next one is storefront injection. We can inject Apple Pay button on mini cart, on cart page, redirect page to HTTPS or not, and so on. Next one, payment integration. So as you know, Apple Pay needs an gateway to complete your purchase, such as CyberSource, Adian, and so on. So this configuration should be configured as gateway request if. As you can see on the following screenshot, let me open the screenshot first. Here is the CyberSource. Here's the configuration required from CyberSource on our sandbox. So let me start from after inject Apple Pay buttons on cart page or redirect page to HTTPS. So use Commerce Cloud Apple Pay Payment API, CyberSource, requested to leave blank. Payment provider URL, leave blank. Payment provider merchant ID, leave blank. API version set to V1. Use basic information, this must be enabled. And all of other fields should be left blank. On the other side, there are different gateway, which is Adyen. On Adyen, we can see the following configuration. Adyen requests us to add the following configuration, such as use commerce cloud payment API. We need to check this option. Payment provider URL, we can add this URL for testing and this URL for live. Payment provider merchant ID, we can add our merchant ID, API version. This need to select the latest one. Use basic authentication we need to check this box, and we can fill all other fields. I would like here to highlight that each of CyberSource and Adyen doesn't request the use JWS or any certificate configured on our sandbox. So if any other gateway requests this certificate, we simply going to administration and the private key and certificates, and we can import the required certificate from the gateway site, such as B12 or CER or so on. This is based on the configuration of the gateway. Now, let us go to the development part. Okay, we have an out-of-the-box Apple Pay cartridge. We can download it from Exchange or anywhere, or GitHub. Inside the plugin Apple Pay, we can see Hooks and Apple Pay. So let's start from here. So the key in Apple Pay development is Apple Pay session. Apple Pay session is the entry point for Apple Pay on the web. All the steps on the payment process for a single transaction occur. Actually, this parameter is stored under the session, and it is not different than Apple Pay session that's stored on the browser window object. So if you open your iPhone device and navigate to Apple Pay and showing Apple Pay pop-up, then we will see Apple Pay session will stored on the browser window object. This is different. The Apple Pay session is different than that one. Apple Pay session is stored under session, and this is used for, I will describe it later on. That means when your customer clicks on the Apple Pay button, SFCC construct an Apple Pay session object, which includes the Apple Pay payment request dictionary that's saved on the window of the browser of your supported browser device. So based on this parameter, we can see if customer device support Apple Pay or not. And we can inject this parameter, which is session.custom.applepay session, anywhere on the view, such as here on the checkout buttons under cart page. We have checked the session.custom.applepay session to identify if we can show Apple Pay or not for supported device. Then you can see is Apple Pay tag is using for ISML. This tag is used for showing Apple Pay button, and from here the request will start from here. I would like to highlight that SFCC provide us Apple Pay hooks. So for example, demandware.extension.applepay.get request, the out of the box of Apple Pay is use this hooks to storing Apple Pay session for view purpose. So that means Git request is triggered on load a storefront page that has Apple Pay tag. So if we have seen is Apple Pay tag, then the Git request hook will be triggered on the hooks, and we can implement the hooks here, and we can add our customization here. Now let me show you the other hooks for Apple Pay. You can see a list of hooks. We can add our customization, or we can implement any of hooks here. We can implement the hooks and adding our customization on the target script. Okay. The first hook is Git Request. As I mentioned you before, the Git Request hook is triggered on load a storefront page that has is Apple Pay tag. This hook is used by out of the box to store the Apple Pay session inside the session to identify if the device supports Apple Pay or not. The second hook is cancel. When you click cancel, Apple Pay fly out. So here on the Apple Pay pop-up, if we have click on the cancel, then this hook will be triggered, and we can add our customization if we have implement or calling this hook inside hooks.json, and we implement our script there. Next one, the shipping contact selected. Shipping contact selected is triggered when Apple Pay pop-up open, and when shipping address changed, as you can see here, when shipping address changed, or when user added the new shipping address on the Apple Pay pop-up. This hooks take 3 parameters: basket, event, and response. So the first parameter is basket. The basket is used to handle the background of SFCC, and the response is used to handle the view of the Apple Pay. For example, if we change the shipping method on the basket by our customization, then we need to reflect this change to the view of the Apple Pay, which is the response. So the basket, let me open the screenshot first. Okay. So the basket is used to save the parameter in the background, such as shipping method, contact information, and the total. So if we have adding some customization to change the shipping method on the basket, then we need to reflect the totals and to the pop-up. In other words, if we added this hooks to our codes, let me show you how we can add this to our hooks. So we have added some customization to shipping contact selected. First, we have implemented the hook, and we have inject this hook to this specific script, and inside this we have added our customization. Then we added some customization to change the shipping method or filtering the shipping method. As I mentioned you before, if we change the shipping method, then we will reflect this to then we will reflect these changes to totals of the shipping method, and these changes will be on the response of the Apple Pay. So the view of Apple Pay will be handled under the response. And inside the event, we can take the required parameter, such as shipping details and so on. Next one is prepare basket. Is triggered when we click on Apple Pay button. So if we are on BDB, then preparing the basket will take an SKU. Here's is Apple Pay on the BDB. As you can see here, it is take a SKU to prepare a basket based on that, preparing a basket with default shipping and billing for this product. This parameter is injected inside the BDB only, and inside the checkout, inside cart or checkout, we have inject only is Apple Pay without SKU parameter. Next one, so this hook, before going to the next hook, this hook prepare basket, we can add our customization to inject our shipping address or change shipping address for the basket, and this based on the requirement. Okay. Next one is authorized order payment. On authorized order payment, this hook is triggered after creating an order and after using the touch ID. Here's the touch ID. After clicking on the touch ID, then this hook will be triggered. This hook, which is authorized order payment, it is much important because it has several purposes and it has several useful. The first option for using it, which is add Apple Pay payment processor to the order, and we can inject the payment instrument and transaction to the order. And the next one, the second option, a process, and this hook is used for a process payment and save the transaction. I would like to highlight that this hook mostly used to handle the gateway connection. So some of payment method require this hook, such as Cybersource or Adyen. This gateway, this hook is used to connect with this gateway. Some of payment method require this hook to handle the gateway authorization and capture using their own customization inside SFCC. And some of payment gateway doesn't require this hook to handle their authorization of the payment. For example, we have seen here two different configuration for Adyen and Cybersource. Cybersource added the customization inside its own cartridge. Okay, here's the Cybersource. As you can see here, Apple Pay inside Cybersource added their customization under authorized order payment hook. This is the customization for Cybersource. And another example, the Adyen. The Adyen gateway required us to fill the configuration inside Apple Pay. The Cybersource doesn't require us to fill the payment integration inside Apple Pay configuration of the sandbox, and the Adyen required us to add the configuration there. So on the Adyen side, Adyen doesn't add the customization under authorized order payment. So if we have disabled this hook, then the payment integration use the built-in BSP API of the out of the box, as you can see on the Apple Pay. So here we have see the notes for using this hook. Payment authorization warning, authorized order payment hook implementation. Please disable it to use the built-in BSP API or implement the necessary calls to the payment provider or authorization. So inside the hooks, we just simply disable this hook for to connect the built-in BSP API, and we need to add any customization for this hook. This is for Adyen gateway. For Cybersource, request us to add authorized order payment, and inside authorized order payment, we have seen how Cybersource added their customization here. The next hook is creating order. Creating order is triggered before authorized order payment and after we using the touch ID. Validate this hook is used to validate the basket and creating the order with shipping, billing addresses, basket, currency, and country code. And if you see this important note for this hook, the purpose of this hook is to populate the created order with any necessary information from the basket or the Apple Pay event. Don't use this hook for address validation or any other validation. Instead, use authorized order payment hook, which allows you to return the Apple Pay hook result with the error status information. Or we can use the shipping contact selected, I think, yes, shipping contact selected hook to validate the shipping address. And the next one is payment method selected. This hook is triggered when payment method selected, shipping method, and the next one, which is shipping method selected. This hook is triggered when we change the shipping method on the pop-up of the Apple Pay, and failing the order. On failing the order, we have triggered this hook. Place order. This hook is triggered on placing the order. So we just need to choose the event based on the required customization. Finally, I would like to highlight that there are different controller for Apple Pay. Okay, inside CO place order, there is a different controller for confirmation page. This controller is used to navigate to order confirmation. Looks like the controller that we are familiar with it. And here you can see the confirmation view and order model, password form, and so on. So this parameter is passed to order confirmation, which is the old one. Okay, that's all, everybody. I hope that I cover everything of the Apple Pay, and let me know if you have any questions.